uh, 2023.
Yep.
Significant thing on this day is it's my anniversary, or my wife and I's.
Yay! Happy anniversary to you and Mary Alice.
So I say she won't be watching, but happy anniversary to my wife. 33 years, if you're curious. As Dagwood would say, only 33 years.
Yes, only.
Famous thing of Dagwood and Blondie, the Blondie.
Oh man, just took me back. Whoa.
One of the funny papers. One of the recurring ones was the surveyor at the door. And the surveyor asked, how long have you been married? And of course, Blondie's over his shoulder. And Dagwood's answer was, nowhere near long enough. And then the next frame is he's getting a big kiss from Blondie.
Oh, yeah.
I always remember that. How long you been married? Nowhere near long enough. So anyway,
Dagwood really was good at noticing the context every once in a while.
He was. So other than that, we will pick it up in a moment because it fits with sorting out difficult relationships. Is that this is the day after the indictment of Donald Trump on many counts. And so that brings up
4 counts.
The relationships going on within the United States. And so, yes, we will talk about that.
Yes.
Here in a moment as we get through. But before that, a little housekeeping. You can chat in, say hey down in the chat. And Phil has chatted in. So
I have.
That's a cool thing. And that's in the lower right corner. In the upper right somewhere, you can follow us.
Hello, Gabriella.
Yeah. We can't see it, but we know you can because people keep following us. So.
Yeah. We have a lot of followers.
Yeah, we do. So somewhere in the upper right. And of course, last but not least, you can register for APA-approved training events that we have. And you just click the green button. And that takes you over and you can get Introductory ACT or ACT for Anxiety and Depression, ACT for Couples, ACT for Substance Abuse, and ACT for PTSD. We're going to add to that list. But for now, that's what's there. All very reasonably priced and helps us out a lot. And if you say, well, I've already taken the courses or whatever, well, that's fine. But you could go over to Patreon. I just switched the button to join Patreon and support us. So if you click that button, you'll go over to our page and you can support us. Any amount will do, and it helps us keep broadcasting. So there you go. And I'm going to stop the share. And there we are, nice and big again. And let's see. Well, where shall we begin? Let's see. Oh, look who's here. Catherine is here. Hello, Catherine. And Gabriella. Oh, she's there as well.
Yeah. It looks like Jasmine might be on.
Yep. And another day, Jessica. Wow, we got quite to show up today. All right.
We do. Relationships must be well, top of mind these days, huh?
There must be. Jasmine says, hi. Oh, I like it. Yeah, when we came up with the title yesterday or the day before, it was Phil.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, well, maybe people have trouble with relationships. I don't know.
We had theorized that perhaps people might have some difficult relationships.
And then I was watching the coverage of our the stuff going on in the United States regarding the past election, all of that, and hearing that there is a whole lot of relationship issues, even on that. So we're going to cover a little bit about how you might even deal with difficult relationships uh, regarding what's going on in the United States right now. So we're going to cover that. And the great thing about what we do, that will pertain to anything, any relationship.
Yeah.
You know, we use an underlying point of view
Right.
cuts across everything. And if you don't know what that is, it's represented by what's known as the ACT. In this case, more so the pro-social matrix.
Yeah, so we would change this question here.
We will change, which we will in a minute.
Yeah.
Just a real quick review, folks. To do the matrix, literally do the matrix. There should be a sound. There should be a song.
You know, there was. We used to have one.
No, but one that literally says "Do the Matrix."
You know? Oh, yeah, like a jingle. Like a jingle.
A jingle, right? Do the Matrix.
All right, folks, somebody do a jingle for us, and we'll put it up here. It'll be our intro.
There was some song back in the I don't know what year. You hear so much. Anyways, folks, just that's to do it, and literally you do it. You don't look at it, you do it. And the way you do it is first you say, well, who's important to me? Oh, my wife. Okay. I've already said happy anniversary to my wife. Yay.
Yes, you did.
And then you might come up with other important folks to put down there. And if you want to, what does it say on
the far right? Oh. Well, we have,
all right, hold it close. It says, who's important to you? Wife, son. There's also an advertisement for the whiteboard.
Oh, up here. The marker board people.
The marker board people, right. Me personally.
Oh, yes, it says contentment. That is correct, Gabriella. Contentment.
That's where you feel content. You feel that's.
And then over here is relief.
And it's just to basically, Gabriella, just to really quickly, if you know Psych 101 at all, the right is positive reinforcement, the left is negative reinforcement. Positive meaning you get something, negative meaning you get rid of something. And if you get rid of something that feels bad, you go, really? Where if you're content, you're going, oh, I have my teddy bear. I feel content. For those.
And now it really says contentment or content.
Content, whatever. So you put it, so to do the matrix, you fill in the lower right, then you fill in the lower left, which is yucky stuff. And you simply go, well, what's the number one yucky stuff that shows up? I've studied on this for years. I still think doubt's the biggie for me. But of course, doubt leads to anxiety, imposter syndrome, all kinds of stuff. Other people say depression.
Yeah, worry. You know.
Worries. Whatever yours is, it's your matrix. So you fill it in. And then you go to the upper left and you say, well, what do I primarily do to get relief? We all have our favorites. Drink a little wine, or watch a little Netflix. Hit the refrigerator, right?
Oh man, that's a well-worn path.
What's in there? That kind of stuff. And in the upper right, you put your favorite things you do to approach who and what's important to you. So my wife, I bought her flowers for anniversary. There we go. So, but I talk to her and bring her coffee in the mornings. This is all regarding my wife. So,
yep.
You have stuff like that you do for other people. Write it down. Now, once you're done with that, you're actually good. What's happening automatically is noticing. And so Phil will put noticing in. It's not that you have to write noticing in, but now you're primed up. The word is literally, the scientific word is primed. You're primed up to recall who's important to you. and recall the yucky stuff that often shows up. And notice the stuff. I should say notice who's important to you, notice the yucky stuff, notice the relief moves, and notice the content moves. And you notice all of that stuff. And in that noticing, you have distanced yourself from yourself psychologically.
Step back.
So psychological distancing, and the original name for acceptance and commitment therapy and training was comprehensive distancing. So that's what you're doing. You're taking on the bird's eye view of yourself, or the drone view, if you want, if you're modern. Whatever you use to get your camera up there, that's it. So that's what we're doing. Today we're talking about relationships.
Yes.
Well, that would be the relationship with yourself. Great.
Me.
Next, we're going to talk about your relationship with others. Okay. And so now you've got you and somebody, at least one other person. Okay. It's like now you hear a lot about conspiracies, right? Well, a conspiracy takes two people.
Yep.
One person is not a conspiracy.
So fun to conspire on your own.
Right. It's not. And even in the eyes of the law, you can't charge somebody with conspiracy for something they did all on their own.
Yep.
So now you've got two or more people. Well, that involves couples and dance partners and tango. Yeah, two to tango, right? All kinds of stuff that happens with two. And once you have two of you, you now have a shared purpose. It just happens. Even if you're strangers standing next to each other, boom, you have a shared purpose. It might not be articulated, but we can figure one out pretty quickly, actually.
Yep.
Okay. So then that's it. And there's other shared purposes that you can list off depending on the relationship with others that you're talking about. But that's where shared purposes go, i.e., what are we going to work on together? Right? Move toward together. Now, of course, when you go to do that, work with others, well, guess what? There's all kinds of special yucky stuff that shows up. Lots and lots and lots of it.
Even just thinking about working with others.
Yeah, it's a mess. So you got your social anxiety, and you got your frustration, and you got your anger. What other kind of stuff shows up? Those are pretty good. Anybody got any other ones?
Oh, I got one. Outrage.
Outrage. Okay, outrage show up. Yeah. Anybody who wants to text low personal
insight.
could show up.
Okay. We'll go with that.
All kinds of stuff. And this time we're relating it to working with others, being with others,
Connected up here.
living with others, whatever it is. Okay. Now, so that yucky stuff comes along.
Low self-aware. You got it. That's it. You got it.
So now we go up to the upper part, behaviors. Well, the yucky stuff shows up. Always, 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 people want relief from the yucky stuff. and
Well, I do.
you just observe people, observe yourself with others, and you will see yourself checking out, looking at your phone and arguing and maybe puffing yourself up, talking too much, talking too little. There's all kinds of stuff that goes on because yucky stuff has showed up, and you go about getting relief from the yucky stuff. Part of life. We're not dissing on any of this, folks. We're just describing self. And then in the upper right, now this is important, folks, because now we've switched to what are we going to do? What behaviors are we going to do in the service of the shared purpose? That's it. That's what the upper right is about. So if your lower right is, we're going to push a bus up a hill. I'm making it very concrete. Okay. And it sort of kind of goes with a very old social psychology experiment conducted in Oklahoma, of all places, Robbers Cave. And to get the boys, conflicting boys working together, they purposely broke down a bus and they had to work together to get the bus going again. So if you think of something like that, and even as concrete as pushing the bus, well, now we're all going to have to know what to do, what behaviors to do to get the bus going. We got to have a direction. We got to have somebody on the steering wheel. We got to, people just need to know what to do. The behaviors then come together to hopefully accomplish the shared purpose. Doesn't always work, right? The behaviors don't always work. But they're still, okay, we tried that. Now since we know what our goal is, what our shared purpose is, now we can go about trying something different, right? And so this goes for couples. It goes for work teams. Workplaces, businesses, sports teams.
Oh my gosh, sports teams.
Way big, a huge part of any coach's shtick.
Yep.
Is the shared purpose one, is getting people lined up on the shared purpose.
Oh yeah.
Now there's people that do that gruffly. There's people that do that nicely. There's all different flavors, but they're all lining people up on the shared purpose. Yep. And so, great popular show showing that process with a nice one was the Ted Lasso series.
Yes.
He didn't know anything about football, meaning soccer, what we would call, but he knew about getting people lined up on a shared purpose. And did it in a nice way. So it's a good show if you ever want to watch it. It's well done. So that's it. Where does that come from? Ancient. It's been around forever. It really has. And it's just in the pro-social matrix, we just make it so it's easy. Now, just so you know, folks, this works really, 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 how many reallys do I have to say? Well, with couples and teams and stuff. If you show it to them, it's just, in the words of my wife, probably, it's like magic.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. People I've heard that before. People say it is like magic. Yeah.
She said it's like magic. It's just amazing. There's all kinds of stuff that goes into that magic that mostly has to do with science. However, when it finally comes down to the human relationships, of course, science goes that way, and the emotions go this way. And that's what in the end of the day, you're working with human emotions, likes and dislikes and stuff. And so then we come into the term of a difficult relationship. Okay, so why would a relationship be difficult?
With the behaviors, do you need to be very specific? Can you give an example of what those behaviors might be?
It depends precisely upon the nature of the lower right shared.
So I didn't fill it in because we didn't talk about
it. So push a bus. So we got 10 people that need, let's make it a small bus. 10 people that need to push a small bus. Okay, there we go. Yeah, the behaviors need to be very specific. Everybody can't be on the steering wheel.
What?
Right. Everybody can't be on the steering wheel. We'd have 10 people inside the bus and nobody pushing, right? Everybody can't. We can't have one person on the steering wheel and 9 people pushing, only on the right-hand corner of the lower back of the bus. Probably not going to work.
Side.
So we need to assign tasks. We need to spread the people around the bus to get the maximum.
Get the bus up the hill.
Get the bus going, right? And so however that needs to be. But yes, it can be in a concrete situation like that. It can be very specific behavior.
Oh yeah, who's going to do what is the way I look at it.
That's right. It's very, very specific. So then you get to a couple, and so we have the shared thing. Housework here. So for a couple,
perfect.
Housework. Well, that can be very specific.
Yep.
You can be very. But then again, raising kids.
Whoops. Wow.
Specificity.
Fine. And then you start about raising kids.
Now all bets are off because
it's complicated.
There's all kinds of behaviors that go.
Yeah.
So then it really comes in handy to know and remind yourself of the shared purpose so that your ongoing behaviors, a lot of them which are ad lib. Any of you have been parents. They didn't give me a manual to
No,
follow.
I kept looking for one. I shook them gently. Nothing fell out of them.
Nothing. No exact manual. And so you've got a general idea how you treat a kid, and you do the best you can. But that needs to be discussed and working with who else is helping you raise the kid.
Hopefully, your partner.
But then when we go to that, it's not so specific, right? So that's what we mean. So it all starts with shared purpose. Bingo.
And it all comes back to shared purpose.
It starts and comes back to shared purpose. People in general, this is all around the world, all the 8 billion or whatever of us. In our relationships, we tend to drift off of the shared purpose. We just do.
I would say not just 10. I would say quickly.
And you can offer up every scientific theory you want about why that happens, but
it happens. We just know it happens.
So it just happens. It's like gravity, It just doesn't go away. It's this slippage. And you say, well, how do you know that, Kevin? Well, I've worked with couples, had them going, seen them in a week. They sort of forgot about the shared purpose.
Yep.
Work teams. And these are really great in case you get everybody lined up on the shared purpose of the work team. Come back in a week or two and you already.
Oh, yeah. Not even when I did it in schools, people would be quickly off of the shared purpose. Quickly.
Yeah. And then so it becomes, and that's when the matrix or the pro-social matrix works best if it becomes part of a almost daily team meeting.
Ongoing.
It just, because then joy plays a big role.
You're quite right, Gabrielle. And that could be one of the things that people say is part of their shared purpose is joy. Yep. Happiness.
Absolutely. And so you discuss that. And our point is that because of the natural human drift off of shared purpose, and we're not going to theorize why, but Phil and I have been at this over 30 years. They just drift off of shared purpose. The reason I say over 30 years, he and I both have mediation, alternative dispute resolution.
Crisis intervention, all of that,
started in the 1980s.
Oh, yeah, way back.
So we're very familiar with this shared purpose territory, and people just drift off of it. They just do. I'm not saying all do. Some couples stay right on it. Some work teams stay pretty well on it. Yeah. But as a general rule, No.
Especially if we're talking about the topic, which is difficult relationships.
Now, once it goes difficult, then things really go. So you make it a daily practice to say, literally ask, what's our shared purpose? And have everybody in the room
And
chime in. Now, in this case, I would not recommend like the mission statement stuff where it's all already written.
talking about that so much, right?
Don't do that. That's not relationship.
No.
You know, that's not how it works. Relationships are people talking, communicating with one another.
Being in contact with each other.
I mean, and it's always live performance. Like right now, Phil and I are working together. This is a live performance.
Yes.
It will not be duplicated. It will not be. So we need to know our shared purpose, discuss it. Phil and I have the luxury of always doing this because it's our job to present this. So we're always talking about shared purpose, but others are not.
Yeah, it's
amazing. They just don't have a reason. But what we recommend, and I have seen this work best, is if you just make it part of a daily routine. At the very least, once a week. And don't forget about the rest of the matrix if you want to. That's fine.
Yeah.
But do not forget about shared purpose.
This is the biggie right now.
I mean, that's the one. So if you want to say, I don't want to talk about the rest of that stuff, I just want to talk about purpose, that is fine.
Yeah.
You will 80, it's called the
Pareto principle.
I mean, is the lower right, the shared purpose is carrying 80% of the work.
Oh yeah.
Period.
Getting people lined up on this is really.
And the opposite, think of the opposite. People, we've all been on them.
Yeah.
Teams who nobody had a clue what the shared purpose is.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a mess.
Yeah. You're sitting somewhere and you go, why are we here? What is this all about?
Why am I wasting my time?
Yeah, really.
Going on here? Right. It's because of this. Nobody has talked about shared purpose. And what I can't stress enough, folks, you talk about it.
Yeah.
It's not that it's written down and that no, you talk about it. Now, I'm not saying you can't write stuff, rules and regulations and laws.
Oh yeah, if you want to, go ahead.
That's all well and good. But once they're written down, you need to come back and talk about them.
Yeah.
You need to.
It's not a replacement for ongoing discussion about shared purpose.
Yeah, because
Pareto. Yes, that's it. Yeah. I think I'll look it up.
It's the 80-20 rule. Also.
Yeah, 80-20.
80% of the work is done by 20% of the people. And so in that case, 80% of the work is being done by 25% of the diagram. For the pro-social matrix, if you say 1, 2, 3, 4 quadrants, so that's 25% per quadrant, 80% of the work is being done by 25% of the quadrant. So that would be, it's a number that has a surprisingly robust finding.
Yeah, it really does.
And
they're spot on with that.
Right, it's really amazing, and then but we know that because a team without shared purpose is not a team. So you've got to have shared purpose.
Can't get the bus up the hill.
It's period. Won't get anything done, and you'll have a mess. So why do we talk about that in terms of the United States right now? Our forefathers, and Thomas Paine is the guy to think for these kinds of
common sense, right? In Common Sense, he wrote it.
Common Sense, right? Was that if you're going to do this thing, this United States, well, I don't know if they were calling it the United States back then, but get away from the Brits and do it ourselves. We need to be a system of laws. So, and he literally said, the law is king. in here in America, I guess they would have called it. The law is the king. And so that means the shared purpose comes around what ends up being the Constitution of the United States. So when you talk to a U.S. citizen, by the writers of the Declaration of Independence and then the Constitution of the United States, our shared purpose is upholding the Constitution and the laws that emanate from it. That's our shared purpose. If you're born here, you don't have any choice. That's what you're born
The way
into.
the game is played.
That's just what you're born into. You're born into that, okay? If you have a government position, of which in the past I did, and I even had one of those positions when I had to give an oath to defend the get it right, Constitution of the United States. I was doing investigations, so that's why. And so, I mean, literally, then they got to raise your right hand and swear that you're going to defend the Constitution of the United States and the laws. So that's the shared purpose. So the easy thing for right now, to get square on, it's not whether you're for any, it's not Democrat, Independent.
Yeah, it's not political party.
It's not that. As a matter of fact, we had completely different political parties when they first wrote, in the first few years after they wrote the Constitution. So no, it has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with defending the Constitution. And so that's where you start. My point being there, that's where you start the conversation. If you start it anywhere else, you're probably going to end up in a political discussion rather than a constitutional discussion. And you want to have this one be a constitutional one. It's okay, what are the laws? Now, our system has mechanisms, so state legislatures and the U.S. Congress and stuff can change laws. They can do it, but we have a very specific system to change laws for good reason. You can't go willy-nilly changing laws around. Oh, yesterday I was on this road and the speed limit was 35. That was 45. And now I'm in it a week later, it's down to 25. God dang it. What's going on here?
Who's changing the signs?
And they say, it's not us, it's the state legislature. They keep changing their mind about the speed limit. Like, no, no, you can't do that. No. And that's what it is. They have to be relatively stable, obviously, in order for people to coalesce around them. So back to it. It's what you're seeing now is laws. And if you break the law, you get prosecuted. And that's why here comes the statement, no one, they say man, I'll broaden it to one.
Yeah.
No one, no person is above the law. That's how a constitutional government operates.
That's how we work.
And so when somebody comes along and tries to upend that system and not play by the rules, well, now you don't have a constitutional democracy anymore. You have a dictatorship, autocracy.
Somebody taking control.
And that's what we rebelled against.
Hey, way back. We gave those people a healthy boot.
That's what we're here for, folks.
Yeah. We started this experiment.
We got rid of King George. There's a real cute song about that in what is that? Hamilton.
Oh yeah.
It's a really cute song, but him wanted us back. But yeah, we got rid of King George. Period. If you want to put a name on it, but we got rid of being ruled by a monarchy. Instead, what are we going to be ruled by? Laws, a system of laws. But It has to be, and they set up in a big experiment. It's called the big experiment. We're still
Yes.
inside the big experiment.
Ongoing.
It's an ongoing experiment. It's tough. It's hard because people disagree.
Right.
Here's your difficult relationships.
They come off the shared purpose. They come off it.
Right. And so disagreements made in the service of how we're going about accomplishing the shared purpose, that's the nature of the game.
Yeah, that's part of the deal.
That's how you do it. You're going to have disagreements, right? That's it. But there can't be disagreements over whether you're going to follow the law or not.
Right.
That,
Yeah.
that's not,
Now that we're disagreeing, let's go back to the law and let's see where we go from here.
you're right. And if the law is wrong, then we'll change it. But that's not easy to do, right? We got to go through a system of doing it. Or, there's all kinds of in our legal systems to do that. But why do I say that? So you're going to get in political discussions. I hear about them. And I guess I'm okay at this, but I always start with shared purpose. I literally, folks, do. Even if folks don't know what I'm doing, they don't know I'm the matrix or pro-social matrix. I'm just a person, a guy. And they, oh, what about all these politics? Oh, I'm like, and I'll say, well, I like to start with what's known as the shared purpose. And what is the shared purpose of the citizenry of the United States? What is our shared purpose? Well, we don't get to argue about it. It was given to us.
Yeah.
When you check off you're a U.S. citizen by
Yeah.
birth, that's what it means.
You were born into this system.
You were born into the United States system of laws, and so
Can't change that.
and that's sort of where the patriotism comes in, right? So when you go into the military, the people that fought in all the different wars, well, in the draft place, they don't ask you if you're a Republican or a Democrat. No. Are you healthy? Can you carry a gun? Come on in. It's not about that because they're there to help in the law. So that's my point. Now, how about in a marriage? Where do you start? Told you this applied to everything.
Yeah.
And it does. And well, probably some in my own marriage, but obviously I'm a psychologist, so I have encountered couples. And I know exactly. And Phil and I, we were highly trained in marriage and family therapy.
Yes, we were.
And we didn't learn this.
They never, ever, ever, ever. No. Nope. Not even a whiff of it.
Not even a whiff. And it turns out that.
Yeah, that too. Even in systemic family therapy, Gabriella, yes.
But back in the day, no. And now this is what I'll do. And it makes it a whole lot easier. Doesn't it? Now, I didn't say it made it easy. I just said it.
Yeah, no. Yeah, don't get us wrong about that.
I'm not saying it's easy.
Nope.
But at least you're talking about the shared purpose. At least we have common ground to talk about. So you got a marriage. What's your shared purpose?
What's the shared purpose of your marriage?
Yours, not mine. Yours. What's you two of you talk it out. And there's where it is. And it's in that talking back and forth that it emerges. This agreement about shared purpose.
People start lining themselves up.
Called coalescing.
Yes. They're coming together. Literally. You can see it happen.
So you can see it happen in a work team. You get a work team. And what's your shared purpose? They don't know. And so, yeah, that's fine. Let's use that language, shared purpose. Let's talk about it. Well, pretty quick. Doesn't take very long that they start to coalesce around some shared purpose. I mean, work teams usually have more than one purpose, so it's purposes, and make rules around it, right? And so, but now when you get to a country level, that's tough. That's tough because you've got all different news outlets that have. I'm going to be blunt. They have different agendas for
Yeah,
how
that's
making
the
money.
word.
Right. Well, all of them are in the business of making money.
Yeah, they want to keep your eyeballs and your ears.
Yeah, they want to sell advertising.
Yeah.
Okay. So doesn't matter which flavor it is.
No.
They all want to sell advertising to eyeballs. Okay. And so it's always tricky how they're handling shared purpose. Because they're oftentimes talking to a niche of people. That is a small group of people who buy their products. So they talk to that niche. And they're certainly usually not talking about shared purpose.
No.
Probably in the last day or so, you've heard a little bit more about laws and the Constitution. And so, but same thing. It's always whatever. But I'm talking about with relationships with friends.
Keep coming back to that.
Keep coming back to it. Always come back to it. And so I know people who I'll be honest with you, I no longer know any Trump supporters. I don't. But I know Republicans. I've always known Republicans. I come from Oklahoma. I mean, come on.
Oh, there's a few there. There's a few in the great state of Pennsylvania, too.
Yeah, I mean, I know lots of Republicans. And we disagree, right? We can disagree on stuff. But we don't disagree on, well, we're here to defend the Constitution.
That's the shared purpose. Yep.
And I will take up arms and go shoulder to shoulder with you to defend the Constitution.
Now we have some common ground.
You see the common ground. That's the shared purpose. Now we go back. So that's where you start. It's that simple, folks, and that hard.
Yes.
It's straightforward. I heard somebody say, there's this difference between making things simple and making them straightforward.
Yeah.
Okay. Like this thing going on with Donald Trump, it ain't simple.
No.
It's very complicated. But is it straightforward? If you actually read the indictment.
Read the indictment. It's very straightforward.
Quite straightforward.
Yeah.
Right. So it's the same with shared purpose. The discussion of it is straightforward.
Yeah.
And you just come about it. If in a relationship, a marriage, let's say, well, you got to have sort of kind of lined up on a lot of shared purposes, or you're not going to be married.
Yep. Early and often, I say.
Yeah. And that's it. I mean, yeah, that's exactly it. It's got to be often. And I don't know, we thought about this, switching this thing to talking about politics and stuff, or people communicating in the United States more straightforwardly, let's say. And really to get people remembering that you start with shared purpose.
Yeah.
So you go to a Trump rally, okay? And they love, the reporters love to pick on the Trump supporters.
Yeah. Take them aside, interview them.
But the kind thing to do, the actual helpful thing to do, would be to talk to them about shared purpose.
Yeah.
And get their ideas on it. Seriously. I mean, seriously, get their ideas on it. No, I really want to hear.
Please share with us.
Really. I mean, because these are not times to treat other people unkindly. Not okay.
Oh, no.
That is not how you're going to do this relationship thing. Just even if it's difficult, even if you really, really, really don't like who you're dealing with, you still got to.
not an excuse for being unkind to people.
It just is not. And you're certainly not going to get lined up on a shared purpose. Because if you go with the difficulty, well, you're going to have difficulty. And we've all, Phil and I and others in the business, have worked with couples who have just decided they hate each other and
Go their separate ways.
they're going to settle. So they come to marital therapy for permission to split up,
Right. Yes. Right.
and it happened. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. Here's the thing, though, folks. And
Yeah.
I told people this.
Oh, yeah.
Even after you're separated, you're still going to have a shared purpose.
That's the thing that I say. And especially if you have children, you still have a shared purpose.
Children involved now, really.
You can't delete that part of the relationship.
You have a shared purpose. So it continues. And I know of several that have done a bang up good job at that.
Yes.
Post divorce, really.
Yeah. I've had people come in specifically for that. Like they've even said, we know we're going our separate ways, but we want to work together on this issue of kids or whatever the issue is. That
Come on, folks. They're more than likely both U.S. citizens.
Yeah.
And guess what? They were born with the Constitution.
Yeah.
Uphold the Constitution.
Yeah.
That's the way it is. So even if they hate each other, they're still citizens of the United States.
Right.
They're supposed to be good citizens. We're all supposed to be good citizens. And a great way to start being a good citizen is to have the shared purpose discussion about what's our shared purpose. And by definition, and I don't often do this, but this is the case where it is. It's written down. It's constitutional.
Yeah.
What it's called. If you want to go to a really fascinating place, go to about an hour away.
Right downtown, about a half an hour from me.
Right.
The Constitution Center.
Yeah, they have the Constitution Center.
Very cool place.
Way cool.
Oh yeah, they even have all the original people, all like in copper poles, all hanging around, chatting with each other and over in the corner.
We got all kinds of stuff about
Oh, yeah. It's great.
Constitution.
Walk up and talk to them.
You'll hear people. Or an attorney will describe themselves as a constitutional lawyer or whatever. If you're in law, go to law school. Of course, you take constitutional law and all that, because that's where everything comes from. So, but that's our shared purpose. So, for the politics of the day in the future, because they'll be different 20 years from now, but it's still going to be if it holds.
Yeah.
That's the problem. That's what everybody wanted. If you bust that up, if you bust up constitutional law, you can't get it back.
No. It's gone.
It's gone, and you can't get it back. It's too fragile.
Right.
People don't realize how fragile it is, how hard you have to work to maintain a system where the law is king. No individual is king or queen. It's the law that's king. And individuals, by their very nature, some of them want to violate that.
Yep.
Put it bluntly, and the current crop isn't the first ones, okay? And they won't be the last one.
No, there's been an ongoing procession that way for.
But how do you come about? Well, you have the majority of the population who wants to uphold the laws.
On the shared purpose.
Stay with it. And as long as you have a majority that want to stay with it and vote and do all that, you stay on the system.
You got a good chance. Got a good chance of staying on the side.
In case you hadn't guessed, I'm really big on Constitution and law.
Yes.
I think they're just whiz bang great. Really? Do I think they're all perfect?
No.
They're no more perfect than I am.
Nope.
Because they were written by people like me.
Yep. Imperfect people. And they knew they were imperfect, which is why they said no one could be above the laws.
Exactly. So I'm really a big fan of it.
Yeah.
So that's why I start with it. So if somebody wants to start saying anything about anything, even if they say, Republican versus Democrat or whatever, I would say, that's a really interesting topic about how disparate views can come together to support the Constitution.
Yep.
That's what it's for. Like, what? And it really changes everything. As soon as I say that,
It's the conversation.
conversation has now shifted because I drew it to shared purpose. I recommend you do that.
Yep.
I recommend you call up people in Congress and tell them to do that. I recommend you call up whatever talk show you're watching and tell them to do that. Ixnay on the running everybody else down.
Us versus them.
Us versus them is nothing but seventh grade crap.
Everybody loses.
Yeah, like in the seventh grade.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody loses.
Everybody loses, right? So,
It's into a push and shoving contest.
right. It's just not the way you're going to get about getting the bus up the hill.
Yep.
Coming together and getting things done. So we'll contemplate how we can address this topic more, because I would imagine for the next several months it will be rather divisive.
It's going to be a bumpy road, folks. Some social yucky stuff is going to be showing up.
Right. And it's, if you can help out, remind people of the shared purpose.
Yeah.
And in the United States, that's the Constitution. They, well, I don't like the Constitution. Didn't you go about changing it?
Yeah.
Okay. We have a system for that. Is it easy? No. Can it be done? Yes. Called constitutional amendments.
Yeah. They've done a few of them. If people
Done a
have
few of them.
Right.
There have been amendments to the Constitution.
Yeah.
So you can follow the rules, follow the law, and amend the Constitution. Fine.
we can add to it.
Right. No, amend it. Right. Add to
Right.
it. So, not a problem. But you got to do it that way.
There's a way to do it that's going to work, and one that's not.
And work for future agents.
For not just for us, but for all those people that'll come after us too.
Right. So that's what we got. And that's what we'll keep going back. And when it's in your own relationships or at work or
Yeah.
around the dinner, especially Thanksgiving and stuff, whenever that
Oh
comes,
my gosh, yes.
you're going to have, the disparate views coming.
And you're going to have recurring circumstances where you're coming together.
And what those are oftentimes used by is people who want to argue. They enjoy arguing.
Get up on their soapbox.
Great.
Yeah.
You argue all you want about how this is working to further the Constitution and the laws of the United States. I don't like the laws. Great. I like it that you don't like the laws. How are you going to go about legitimately changing?
What's your process?
Of course, I'm not very popular at dinner parties.
Well, unless of course you have somebody that wants to really,
Well, I did actually. You can.
Then it gets to be a lot of fun.
I've had actually quite very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. People will line up. Yep. They like hearing shared purpose stuff. Oh yeah, I haven't thought of it that way.
They do. They have it. And that's what it is. That's what it is. This, by the way, folks, just as we go, this is research based also. This is not just us blabbing about it.
Yeah, no.
They have studied cultures for millennia, really, and the cultures that work off a strong sense of shared purpose.
Yep.
Period. There's many cultures who have not worked. And for a variety of reasons, but
that's very often that's what's been their undoing.
Their undoing is they lost their sight of shared purpose.
Yeah.
Once you get people scattered and not working on shared purpose, the culture disintegrates.
Caves.
Right. Now, why I hesitated, I mean, like volcanoes crashing down.
Well, natural disasters, yes.
that can really,
Tsunamis will definitely. take
Yeah,
care of all of that
I'm
stuff.
not dogging that stuff.
No,
You
no.
know, human stuff of losing sight of shared purpose. So,
Yep.
yeah. Or you have shared purpose, but you get lackadaisical about it, and some despot comes in and gains control,
Yep.
and it only lasts for a cycle or two, and then it's
Yep.
all busted out. Because
And
then
Kev, you just used that word lackadaisical because the other thing that the research shows is that it requires the word is that shows up for me is monitoring.
monitoring, and that's why we say come back to shared purpose.
See, that's the keep it coming back. Constantly monitoring. How are we doing with this? How are we doing on the shared purpose?
How are we doing? So that's what we are now, folks. Is we're at a monitoring period of shared purpose. If you're here in the United States, for the United States. Now we carry the torch for a whole lot of other places trying to be democracy.
Yeah, they seem to be paying attention to what's going on.
So it's important for us to do this, to be a people of laws. That's what we are.
Yep.
We're a country of laws. We come together to do it, but we do it like the forefathers did. You sit down and argue it out and vote.
Down the street from me.
Yeah, right down the street from him. Go visit it sometime. It's really cool.
It is really neat.
Really a neat place.
Quite experience.
Yep. But you do, it does sink into you more of that. That's what we're about. Now, I don't know how fair it is that you're born into it because that's
Yeah, that's probably not very fair as a
an
random.
existential question of
That's random.
you just don't get to choose.
No.
That's where everybody says, they always say, you get to do all your choices. You can
Yeah,
choose
right.
anything. Really? You got to choose where you were born? Cool. How'd you do that? Well, I didn't get to choose where I was born. Oh, did you get to choose your gender?
Yeah.
How about that?
How about the color of your eyes?
Oh, did you get to? No, I didn't get to.
Oh,
I didn't, there's a whole lot you didn't get to choose. How about your socioeconomic status of your family?
Yeah.
Did you get to choose that? No, right. So be careful with choice, folks. And it includes being a United States citizen. If you're born here, you get the Constitution.
That's what you got.
This is what you got. Just like in your family. Whatever your family rules
Got your
are,
family.
that's what you were born into. And until you're 18 or so and get away from it, you're stuck. Same with the USA. I guess you can move out and move to some other country.
Oh, you could. But guess what? They got their own little thing going on over there.
Adopt their laws. They're not going to let you be lawless. Well, I guess you can be lawless for a while.
You could try.
Usually ends in.
Yeah, somebody come looking for you.
But anyway, there we go, folks. Shared purpose. We'll be
Yep.
back on it. a
Difficult
lot.
relationships.
We're going to keep coming back to it.
Yeah, I think we should do this regularly.
We'll see. Spread it around, folks. Get it out there.
Yep. And hey, and support us too if you get a chance.
What's that?
And support us too if they get a chance.
Are you on Patreon?
Support us.
It really helps. I mean,
Yeah.
it helps a lot. It takes the pressure off of us.
It does.
And, $5 out of your pocket a month. A whole lot of people doing
Yeah.
that. Bill and I don't
It
have
adds
to
up
work.
over here and
You know,
helps
adds
us
up,
pay for stuff. Yep.
helps us pay for this. We don't make any money out of
No.
it. We can promise you that.
Yes. Show you the bank account statement.
Yeah. And don't let the guitars fool you.
Yeah, all right.
God, yeah. I'm up to 2 of
Oh,
those.
I see the new one's up. I see
The
it.
new one's up. The new one's up. It has, by the way, folks, let me see if I can point. Right there, you
got
see
it.
that little, that's a honeybee. Somebody made that guitar.
It's nice. It's great.
My honeybee guitar. It's a Telecaster. Wait, no, that's a Gretsch. That's a Martin. That's a Fender Telecaster. Not a Fender, I think. Just a guy that made it for me. Put the bees on it. So there you go. We'll be back.
We've done it again.
On Wednesday. No,
Uh,
this is Wednesday. We'll be back
is
Friday.
it Friday?
But we'll talk more about shared purpose.
Yes.
Bye-bye, folks.